Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we got a fun one for you today. We've got an image here. When you hover over it, it's going to have a button fade in over the top of it, and you can click on it and go to wherever you want to take your people. Really easy to do. We're going to code this button today. Don't let the coding put you off. Any code that I write, I'll put down below the video and you're welcome to use it. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, I'm going to go down to where I want to work. And I've got a section here, the blue tab. Inside I've got a column, or a row I should say, the green tab with two columns. I'm going to work on the right hand column. I'm simply going to add a Divi Image Module. And let's select the image that we want to pop in there. I'll just pop that one in. Great, and down below, this is where you want to put the link if you want to send your visitors somewhere when they click the button. Always best practice, if you're linking into your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab, that way your site stays open. I've got no real link, so I'm going to put a hashtag in place of a link. Okay, I don't want any background or admin label. What I'm going to do now is go over to the advanced CSS IDs and classes, and I'm going to give this a CSS class, not an ID, a CSS class. I'm going to call mine button im. That's my sort of shorthand for button over image. Call yours what you want, but it wants to be unique. And I like mine to mean a little something to me, so if I see it in the code, I know what it is. Now we've given it a CSS class, we'll save it, and we can actually target it with some CSS code to build our button. So let's save this, and we need to go down to our dashboard and to our customizer. So let's go down to the dashboard, go down to appearance, and then customize. That's going to take us to this page here. I'm going to use the Additional CSS Panel at the bottom here, and here's where we can write our code. Scroll down a bit so we can see this a bit better. I think what I'll actually do, so I can zoom in while I'm coding and you can see everything, I'm going to swap these images around. I'm going to give it a title. Always a good idea to give your code a title. And the title is // Anything that you write in between the two stars will not be read as code. So we'll say button over image. Okay, now we've got to tell it what we want, and I'm actually going to use a pseudo element for this, so I'm going to use the after. So we gave it that class name of button im. All class names have a dot or a period, so it's button im. Now I want to use a pseudo element of after, so I'm going to use colon, no gap after the m, and the word after. Now we can open and close some curly brackets and decide what we want to put in there. Well, we're going to create a button, so it's going to be content. I'm going to say content, and don't forget all this code will be down below the video for anybody who wants to copy and paste. And what do we want it to actually say, our button? Click me or learn more, whatever it is you want it to say. I'm going to put it in an inverted comma right here. Click me. Let's put a exclamation on the end of there perhaps. And I want it to have an absolute position so it stays where I put it. So I'm going to say position, colon, absolute. Where do we want it? We want it right in the middle of our image over here. So sort of top 50 and left 50. So we'll say top, colon, 50%. And we'll say left, colon, 50%. I know you can't see anything because we haven't actually built anything for you to see yet. We're just doing the actual positioning at the moment. Let's actually give it a color so you can see it. So if I drop down, I'll say color, FFF, which is white, hashtag FFF, which is CSS for white. And you can see the little click me there. Let's put a little semicolon in there. Now, at the moment, that left-hand top corner is right in the middle. I want the middle of the actual word to be right in the middle there. So to change that, we can use a bit of transform translate and pull it back and up by half of its width and length. So let's say transform, translate, transform, and we're going to use the translate. Open some round brackets. I'm going to say negative 50%. And that's pretty much done it. You can do separate commas separated if you want to for width and height, but that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to leave that right there. Okay, let's give it a background color. I'm going to say background. I want to say blue. Put in any hex color or RGBA that you want there. Can't see anything because I've not given it any width or depth. So let's give it a bit of padding all around. I'm going to give that click me 20 pix padding all around. So say padding 20 pixels, and you should see it when I put this in. There we go, there's our little blue for the button. And obviously you can style your button any way you want. You can give it wider padding, left and right, and different padding, top and bottom, style it, and border radius for button corners and things. If you want to give it rounded corners, you can put a bit of border radius on the top. Let's give it sort of 15 pixels. And you've got a bit of a rounded button there. I don't want it quite as much as that. I'm going to leave mine maybe about 5 pixels. Slightly rounded corners will work for me. Great. And we want to be able to click on the link. See, if I roll over the button now, you can't click on the link. We've got the hand icon when we go on the button. We can't click on that link. So we've got to tell it that we want to click through that. I'm going to use pointer events for that. So I'm going to say pointer dash events none. So now, as you see, while we're on the button, we can actually click on it. Fantastic. But of course, we don't want to see it initially. We only want to see it when we hover over it. So I'm going to say opacity 0, which is invisible. When I put that in, it should disappear. There we go. And when we hover anywhere over this image, I want it to appear again. So I'm going to copy our class name and the after right here. I'm going to drop down. I'm going to pop it in there. Just before the A of after, I'm going to write hover and put a colon on the end. No gaps in any of that. Button im, no gap, colon, hover. Make sure there's an R on the hover. And then after. Let's open and close some more curly brackets and we can bring it back. We created a hover event for our after right there. And let's say opacity 1. Now when I hover over, it's going to pop in just like that. But it's absolutely instant. I'd like to slow the fade in down for a bit of grey. So let's use a bit of transition duration on the regular state, not the hover state, because it's transitioning from the regular state. So we'll say transition dash duration. And let's maybe give it 3/4 of a second, 0.75 s. And now when I hover over it, it should gradually fade in. Yeah, that's a bit more like it. And fade out when we get off. Okay, I don't think my button's quite in the center there. So let's translate it by negative 50% of its height there. That should just take it up and put it dead central. We've got it right in the middle, left and right there. So let's comma separate that. I'll put a comma in there. I'll put another negative 50%. And let's publish this and I'll refresh the page. And let's quickly refresh the page. Go back to the additional CSS, roll on down. That's better. That's absolutely central there. So that's doing everything that we want it to do there. And we can click on the button. The only thing is it's got that Pexels Mustafa Ez in there and the number. I don't want to see that. That's actually on the image itself. We can take that away with the attributes. That's the name of the actual image itself. And obviously I've got it from pexels.com, fantastic free stock photo site. So let's go back to our page now. Everything's published here. I've still got my builder open. Let's go into the actual image module itself. Over to the advanced, you'll find attributes. And there's that long word, Pexels Mustafa. We can simply take that, delete it, save our changes. Now when we hover over, you're not going to see that, which is great. So let's save everything here and exit the Visual Builder. Once we exit the Visual Builder, it should refresh and we'll have our button. Roll on down. And there we go. We've got that nice little button fade in. It's taking 3/4 of a second to fade in. And we can click on it, take people to whatever link we want. So there you go, guys. There's how to add a button over image with the Divi theme. Bit of code, but all that code is down below for anybody that just wants to copy and paste. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.